Hey, Joe, how is it possible that Carolina can still make the ACC championship game, but NC State cannot? All right, excellent question. And I'm going to try not to get too far down deep in the weeds on this.
No, you've got a good handle on this.
Since I was sent down this rabbit hole yesterday by Bullard, I might as well share my information. So Florida State 8-0. They've completed ACC play. They are in the championship game. Louisville is 6-1. They have one conference game left. They go to Miami. While we all expect Louisville to win, and if they do, they would be 7-1. They would be one game clear of everybody. Doesn't matter what else happens. We would have Florida State, Louisville, first Saturday, December, ACC championship game in Charlotte, right? Nice and easy. Tie a bow, move it along, put a stamp on it, mail it in.
Yeah.
But what happens if Louisville loses to Miami?
I mean,
well,
they could.
The door is still open. Let me give you the easiest one first, okay?
Although I don't know. I think Miami's got nothing left in the tank.
I agree. But the easiest one first is Virginia Tech, okay?
Okay.
So Virginia Tech can still make the ACC championship game. They are 4-2 in the league. Virginia Tech has 2 games left. They play NC State. They play Virginia. If they win both of those games, they would finish 6-2. Louisville loses. They're 6-2. Virginia Tech lost a head-to-head matchup to Louisville. If it's just Louisville and Virginia Tech, well, obviously Louisville wins the tiebreak.
Yeah.
However, if the Tar Heels also finish 6-2, and those 3 teams finish 6-2,
it's crazy.
We would then have a 3-way tie.
And Carolina doesn't play either of them.
We would have a 3-way tie that would be broken by common opponents.
Mm-hmm.
So I put on the yellow pad here, the common opponents for Louisville, Carolina, and Virginia Tech. At that point would be State, would be Virginia, and would be Pitt. Louisville's loss to Pitt would be the difference in the tiebreak. So Carolina would have a loss to Virginia. Louisville would have a loss to Pitt. Virginia Tech would have wins over both and would have a better record against common opponents. And Virginia Tech would be in the ACC championship game against every possible odd.
That is the scenario that I think Jim Phillips wants the least.
Yes, I think he wants Louisville to take care of business.
I joked with someone when they lost to Marshall. I said, that's so Virginia Tech. Good thing they're not going to end up winning the Coastal. Like, right. And then here they are, like, rising again after taking a horrible loss in non-con.
Now, the Carolina portion of this programming gets a little bit more complicated.
Of course. They need a lot more to
They have technically not been eliminated. Now, Carolina cannot get in this 3-way scenario because of those common opponents. So they need Virginia Tech to lose. So if you're a Carolina fan, you're rooting for NC State this week to beat Virginia Tech. Fine.
Yeah.
So Carolina would need to win out, and Louisville would lose to Miami. Okay. So now you would be 6-2. Louisville would be 6-2.
I don't see the Louisville thing happening.
I know, but now you go through your common opponents, and you're like, okay, there will be 5 of them. You would each have losses: Carolina, Georgia Tech, Virginia.
Yeah.
Louisville would have Miami and Pitt. So Louisville would have 2 losses to teams Carolina lost to. Pitt and Carolina would have 2 losses that Louisville lost to. So how do you break the tie? Well, you go to the 4th, which is you now rank those common opponents.
Is that the 4th, or are we flipping coins yet?
Not yet. 7th is the
oh my
coin.
God. Okay.
So 4 is how the other teams finish.
Okay.
And then that basically goes by best win.
Okay.
Well, if you look at the
best win of those opponents.
Yes.
Are you serious?
So now if you start looking at those standings.
Oh, then it's Pitt.
Well, that's the problem. Could it be Pitt or Virginia? They both have 1 win right now. So so ultimately it becomes the worst loss.
Okay.
If that makes more sense.
Right.
To process.
Yeah.
So if you are Carolina, you need Virginia to finish ahead of Pitt. And if they do that, you at 6-2 and Louisville at 6-2, you would be in the ACC championship game.
Obviously, that presumes a lot with North Carolina.
Yeah, but now what happens if Pitt and Virginia end up with the same record? Well, then you go to number 5.
Oh my God.
Which is the conference record of your opponents. And this is where Carolina would be saved by playing a more difficult schedule in the league than Louisville did. Remember, Louisville this year did not play Clemson, did not play Florida State.
Right.
Carolina at least will end up playing Clemson. Right. So there is that. That's all super confusing, but it also explains why on Thursday, Louisville wasn't like, yes, we're headed to Charlotte. We're going to the ACC championship game, no matter what happens against Miami, because that's not true. The second part of this, of course, is, well, why is State eligible? because NC State finishes with Virginia Tech and Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, it's impossible for them to end up in a 3-way tie. And the only way to beat Louisville, who they lost to in a tiebreaker scenario, would be to involve a third team. So the math works out that yes, Carolina is still alive. Yes, Virginia Tech still alive. No, NC State not alive. You have all that straight now?
I think so. How is it more confusing without divisions?